How you do? I ain't gonna say what up, it's your girl J Bell, because every time I said that for the past 3 years, apparently I was being criticized by an egotistical asshole that was out of LA who decided to put my ear check up on his page without my permission. So let's start off there. I got more to share. All right. Well, nobody asked for this video, but it was sitting on my spirit heavy. And obviously, I've moved to Las Vegas. I have gotten a new gig and whatnot, and all those details are coming soon. But this was sitting on my spirit because I kept going back and forth about whether or not I should share the reasons why I left my job at the station I was currently at, and kind of pivot a little bit. I want to say it in disclaimer before I get into my reasons. The people that are in radio and they are killing it and doing it well, I applaud them, because it takes a lot of effort and energy and being in the right place around the right people that are invested in you as a talent and helping you grow. I would have to say, for me, unfortunately, I don't feel like I had that where I was at. Even though it seemed like it wasn't that. And I hope this doesn't get me in trouble, but I've been called the radio troublemaker. So I want to dive into that a little bit here. And yeah, I'm going to share more on that, like right now. So I was with my station for 3 years, did a lot of great stuff, on my own during that time, including being on television with TMZ, which a lot of people do. I'm also being on TV, period, doing a adventure reality series, and keeping my ratings up, and just trying to connect with the city I was in previously before moving to Las Vegas. But at the same time, as much as I love radio, and I love being in radio, and my love for radio came even as a child, but even more so when I decided to take a radio practicum class my sophomore year of college at North Carolina A&T State University in Greensboro. Yes, I'm an Aggie, and I'm from North Carolina. Might not seem like it, but I am. And the person that gave me that love for radio and really told me to dive into it is one of my first mentors ever. Her name was Dee Cherie. She was the program director at WNAA 90.1 FM. And she really helped me learn my gift. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I didn't want to cry in the video, but I think I'm going to end up crying anyway. Anyway. Along with her, another girl named Jackie, and a guy named James, they encouraged me to audition for the college radio station, and my love for radio really began in college. Fast forward to now, I don't know if I'll ever step back into radio, personally myself. And again, I want to do a disclaimer. I've seen a lot of people that I admire. I've watched their growth through social media and seen everything they've been through, and they are killing it. And they're also extending what they have done in radio and extending it to other areas because they have the right people around them. And they're very talented too. Some very talented radio personalities, especially women. And again, I say, unfortunately, I didn't have that same thing. And so I want to share, even though nobody asked for it, it's on my spirit so heavy because I feel like I know that I had success and I've been successful and I am successful. At the same time, I feel like I'm a bit of a failure because so many times when people decide to walk away from radio or they leave their jobs in radio, it's seen as though you're being a quitter or that you just couldn't hack it or cut it in radio. And I don't believe that's true with me. I just don't feel like I've ever been around the right people or had the right guidance as what I need. And even so, sending my stuff out to big markets and getting feedback, some good feedback, a lot of good feedback actually, it's still minor things that they couldn't look over to hire me, which I can understand. I get that. I totally understand that. But fast forwarding here, because I'm becoming long-winded, but I definitely wanted to give background into why I don't know if, even though I love radio and I keep pursuing it, why it doesn't love me back? And why do I keep getting the door closed in my face? I've just gotten to a point where I'm just like tired, and it has stressed me out. My mental health has completely diminished. The amount of, I never wanted to share this because it's probably not a good thing to share, but the amount of weed that I was smoking while living in the previous city I was living in, it got to a point where I could not function without it. And I know I'm better than that. So my hope as I pivot away from radio a little bit, because again, I say, I don't think radio loves me back. And it's hard to keep wanting to pursue it or keep going for it when I get doors slammed in my face, even though I know I am talented. And I have learned how to adjust and adapt in this changing landscape of radio. So here are my reasons of why I left my job. I left my job. So starting off with number one, got a whole list here. So bear with me for a second as I get into it. Number one reason why I chose to leave my job was I got tired of working with insecure women. And it wasn't just in my last market. It also happened in Phoenix. I also dealt with it in Charlotte. Also, too, I dealt with that in some capacity. And the Charlotte, not so much. Phoenix, in the last market, yes. To the point where both women that were very insecure with themselves tried to get me fired from being on those stations or being with those companies. And that really broke my heart because I'm not that person. I really am about women's empowerment. I grew up as an only child. I didn't have any sisters. So having friendships and building that community was the way to like me having friends. And so to go into markets where like literally I was looking forward to working with other women in these places, and they basically treated me as though I was beneath them or I wasn't shit, or in a sense being racist towards me, was very devastating. Oh, and I lived in Las Vegas before, and I dealt with it in Las Vegas when I was working at iHeart with another talent. Won't talk about that at all because she definitely changed on me real quick. So that's my first reason. My second reason is I was told I was very valued, that they were invested in me. But when it came down to contract negotiations, it didn't look the same at all in that same thing. When you're being told you're valued, but being asked to give up money, that's not being valued or appreciated. And I really felt like for me, if I had signed the contract that was offered, that would set a precedent, or it would set a standard that is okay to do that to women in radio, and especially women that are actually doing well and that is talented and that you want to make money with. Number three, I didn't want to stress myself out anymore with trying to, although I've been told all the time I look beautiful, whatever, I've also had people tell me that I am not good looking and that I am ugly. And so I got tired of feeling like I don't look good enough because I don't look like an IG model, video model, or I don't look like a Kim Kardashian or something, or because I don't have my boobies sitting up towards my chest and my ass sitting fat with a slim waist. I have had health issues in the past 4 or 5 years. And so I've gained weight, which goes with being depressed, not feeling good about yourself because how you're treated, or because you're not you don't look conventionally pretty. nobody wants to work with you, or certain men in the business don't want to work with you. I really hope this does not push me completely out, but I just had to get this off my spirit. I'm so sorry. So my number 3 reason, I didn't want to stress myself about looking like a video vixen or an IG model in order to move up in this industry. It just became too much. I was trying so hard and at the same time was literally killing myself on the inside. Number 4, I mentioned this before, my mental health. My mental health was very much diminishing. I felt very isolated. Yes, I did have friends. I had people that adored me. I had colleagues that are friends. I had people outside. I had a friend outside of work. But I felt very isolated because I didn't feel like my talent and the things that I could bring to the table were being fully utilized. But also, too, I wasn't able to pay for my own plane tickets to see my parents. And my mom lives in Las Vegas, which is where I'm at now. And my dad lives in North Carolina. And not being able to pay for my own plane ticket to fly to see my father for a couple of days, or, spending just a weekend with my mom, and not just for the holidays, just a random weekend. It really took a toll on me not to have that. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I spent most of my time, although I would try very hard to go out, do stuff, be around people, even taking myself out, going to restaurants, going to movies and all this other stuff. As soon as it was done, I would rush home because I just felt so uncomfortable and so uneasy being out and about in my last city. And lastly, I felt like I hit a plateau when it came down to things. I felt like I hit a plateau in that market. I don't feel like I could have moved up anymore. I couldn't be on an additional station in the building because, there wasn't a hip hop station or another type of station I could have been on or done things. And it just was kind of discouraging, even when I was, asking about voice tracking for other markets and asking for someone that is a manager to advocate for me, because I was told I could not email PDs behind their back to ask to be on. I was told that I needed to ask my PD about that. I don't feel like that was happening for me. And so I just felt very stuck, super stuck. And that's not fair to me. I truly felt like I was just another body in the building and not really being utilized to my full extent. It was more of like they wanted me to do their social media, but didn't want to pay me additional money. Also, I didn't want to do social media for the other brands because that's not what I was hired for. My title was on-air APD, and I didn't get really trained on being an APD either. So, yeah, I literally felt like I was being wasted in the building. A lot of times I would have the Monday scaries every day of the week. Like, I dreaded going in because I just felt like I was not, like I said, I wasn't being utilized. I wasn't happy at all. And I say that because I was trying a lot and it was going nowhere. And sometimes I would just stop and try to sit in the moment of where I'm at and see what would happen, but at the same time trying to put myself out there. And when I did, I just kept hitting the wall, kept hitting the wall, kept hitting the wall. And as I said before, it was really hard for me to make this video or even really think about making this video because, for one, I don't want to be blacklisted in radio at all. I would like to be able to be syndicated. I would like to be able to get my foot back in the door and be a talent again, and build those relationships. Also, I don't want to burn bridges that haven't been built yet. And in our industry, you're not supposed to really talk about what happens behind the scenes. They say to you, you got to have tough skin, tough skin, let it roll off your back, keep it moving, do this, do that. As a kid, I did all that. And a lot of times it got me in fights, it got me suspended. And when I became an adult, I was drinking too much and not expressing myself because I was scared of being seen as weak. And so this is hard for me. But I also feel like if I don't share these things, it's going to internalize inside of me more and hurt me even more in the long run, where I can't function in the new chapter that I'm beginning. And so I wanted to share, hopefully you heard the reasons within that, the reasons why I chose to walk away from my job. And of course, as I should say, it was not an easy decision. I could have let my ego take over me and say, you know what, as long as I stay, maybe things will get better, things will change, maybe opportunities will happen. But I realized in the back of my mind, those opportunities weren't coming where I was at. They weren't going to come there at all. And so I had to get out, because honestly and truthfully, if I didn't, I would not live to see 40. That's how bad I was feeling on the inside. I was numbing myself. I was just trying to barely function to get by. Before I decided to do this video, I had to take a deep breath because I was clenching my jaw so tight. And I just started crying, started bawling, because I've been so stressed and I've been holding this in because I don't want to do anything wrong in this situation. I want to fully succeed in media, but I also can't hold back my experience. That's not honest to myself, first of all, because that's who matters the most, is me. If I'm not sitting right within myself, there's no way I can move forward and grow and sit right with somebody else. Or even if it came down to it at some point in some time, mentor another young woman in this industry. I can't lie about that. I'm not a good liar. I'm a horrible liar. I'd rather hide things, which is not lying. It's just not sharing everything. So, yeah, those are my reasons. This is my vlog, and I'm hoping to do more content creation along with where my job is going. My new gig, once everything is signed, things happen. It's the holidays. It's going slow, but I'm hoping to do more content creation on my own, still continue to do the videos that I've been doing, but posting more on YouTube and TikTok, and sharing those things of that nature. And I hope you'll follow me on this journey. And for anybody that's in radio or wants to get in radio, do not be discouraged, okay? The landscape is changing, but it's not because radio is dying. I'm trying to figure out how to say this before I say the end of it. Radio isn't dying. The people that are in charge, the higher ups that don't see that radio is not just a streamlined business, but is a community-driven business, which includes having the community localized, they are killing it. And I know a lot of our dreams is to be syndicated, to have syndicated radio shows, which is what's kind of changing the radio landscape. So not everybody's going to be syndicated. I probably won't be one of those people that will be syndicated, but I'm not going to be a slave to somebody else's brand anymore. It's going to take a lot of work. I'll be 40 in August, but I'm going to try my damnedest to keep building up this community that I've been building for years and been scared of doing because of what I've let everybody else around me say. The scariest thing is listening to other people's advice and it doesn't sit right within your spirit. You can take advice. You don't have to heed to that advice. I'm just saying that. So, like I said, hopefully you'll follow my journey as I try to do more content creation on my own, continue to share funny, crazy stories, do my jokes, my corny jokes, and other things that I've done on TikTok and across YouTube. And hopefully what I have shared has inspired somebody else to keep going and don't let nobody else make you feel like you ain't shit, because you are somebody. Hopefully this feels better on my spirit and I can sleep tonight. Till next time, guys. Peace out.